Aw, innocent little Matty, enjoying his newly released Genshin Impact. Little does he know, however, it happened again. Genshin Impact, I will play you one day, but for now, Bethesda is utilizing their most brilliant tactic on me. You may be wondering what that is, but someone in a boardroom snapped their fingers and said the way we get rid of Matty is work him to death because he can't resist any news from our games. So a bit of Groundhog's Day syndrome, and here we are with our third Starfield leak. And you'd think as these leaks continue, I'd ascend in power levels. I'd be out here like Goku, a new form every episode. But what's happened in fact is I'm like a staircase. I've descended, and when the flannel's on, I'm in my laziest form. Well, staircases don't exclusively descend, but let's just talk Starfield. So I got this information through my buddy ESO. He made a video on his channel, and there has been some new information since that has popped up. Essentially, a lot more Starfield screenshots between assets again, in-game screenshots. A lot of things are going around now. It's blowing my mind. And what's funny is a lot of people are like, Bethesda must be angry. But they're in luck, man. This is like free marketing for their game, because none of these screenshots are really showing the game truly in action of us exploring or us on a planet or how gunplay even works. It's literally just someone standing there every time, and the most we've got out of this is maybe settlements. So let's start off with Skullzy's image. He attached an image to a tweet saying there's a lot of misinformation going around regarding Starfield. With that in mind, I got permission from a direct source to report on the real truth behind all of this. Only I can actually provide the real breakdown, and to prove it, here is another unleaked image. So as we can see here, this is the player character once again up against another building. God forbid we see a planet or something like that. I noticed some tiles on the top right corner of the screen that look pretty much not attached to anything at all, which is really further solidifying the idea that we are getting some form of settlements, I'd say at least, in Starfield. But once again, this is just proving that there's tons of assets for the game and stepping further and further away from the idea that this is some type of modder who's imported their custom assets into the creation engine. So Skullzy pretty much alluded to it when he was on the show with me just this past Saturday. That feels like a millennium ago at this point in time, because there's been so many Starfield leaks since. I don't even know what I'm going to actually title this video as, because there's been so many, but I know we want to talk about it all, and I want to show you guys it all because this is a developing story. And so Skullzy seems to have a guy on the inside. I don't know if he's like making a video about this misinformation and stuff, but it might be something worth keeping your eye on if you are deeply invested in the Starfield leaks. But with that in mind, let's go ahead and keep moving through the images that came through ESO that are now scattered across the web. So first is actually one that I found pretty exciting. It is a new, we'll say, armor asset, so to speak. And we can see here, this is a brand new spacesuit. It's got every single angle for the player character. The color scheme is entirely different from that of which we saw on the character in any of the screenshots that have leaked thus far, which has had people speculating that this is a brand new faction maybe inside the game world. Now, I think that's a bit of a leap, and that's coming from me, by the way. If I'm saying something to leap, like, come on. Now, the reason people are really supporting that idea is because this image leaked alongside it, and people believe this is a faction logo. However, if we take a look at not only the Constellation blurred image from the actual Starfield reveal trailer, but also even the patch on the right shoulder of the player character in the initial Starfield leaks, I believe this is just the conceptual stage of the actual, we'll say, Constellation logo for now. That's just being used here. It just doesn't have any designs. You can clearly see it's like two rims, maybe of a planet, and then a Starfield up above. And I'm starting to think that you are this lone explorer, like sent out into this part of the galaxy, and you're just gonna go planet to planet, man. And that in its own right is truly exciting. We've already seen some LinkedIn updates, which a lot of other YouTubers have covered, suggesting that there will be brand new cities, of course, in Starfield, which I think was to be expected, but some folks are a little nervous that this might be like a No Man's Sky type of experience. But knowing that there was someone actually directing how cities were made in this game does, to some extent, confirm the idea that there will be, I guess, life on these planets, and that we will be going to places. Some may go, obviously, Matty, come on, use your head. I get it. But with a new IP, I just feel like you can't be all too certain about absolutely everything across the board. Other images that leaked were just merely assets. These two assets here specifically remind me of things you would see 100% in the settlement mode. These sealed plastic blocks. Furthermore, there's this metal sheet wall, kind of similar to what we've seen on the side of the prefabs inside some of the early Starfield leaks. But as it stands now, it's just been a lot of assets between the art of the ship, the actual armor itself. Now we're seeing individual pieces that the player would probably be building with, exclusive images leaked by Skullsy once more. Now, my question after now this third Starfield leak is, why the drip feed? Why the constant images popping up here and there? I went from going, hey, this isn't a marketing campaign, to, okay, where are these images even coming from, right? Because if people are eating this up, how are new images arising when this was apparently a early 2018 build? That's what I'm trying to piece together here, right? If this truly is someone who had access to the game and they had a limited number of screenshots that now they're posting 2 years later, how are they constantly accessing the build to take new screenshots? I mean, there's a lot of question marks behind it now as the leaks have continued, where my hype is sort of leveling out, and now I'm starting to raise these strong questions. Not to say this is fake, by the way. I truly believe this is real, but I'm just wondering if there's more to show. Why hasn't this leaker just kicked down the door and leaked something significant? It's just been the sides of buildings. It's like, well, how do I call it? It's like tease leaks, where you know it's the game, but you don't really know much about the game, and it leaves room for speculation. So I called those people crazy a couple videos ago who were saying, it's Bethesda. Maybe. I mean, anything's on the table at this point in time. Now, some folks have also suggested that Xbox is to blame here, because Bethesda was acquired by Xbox and then boom, leaks happened. Now, once again, if the information is to be believed that these are from an early 2018 build, then these images and gameplay have been available for a long while. Just the timing was very interesting between the biggest Bethesda news we've seen in years and years and years, and some of the biggest the game industry has ever seen, versus now Starfield leaks. I don't think suddenly Xbox is inside Bethesda's office and there's this complete turnover happening, and that's why you're seeing a scatter shot of Starfield screenshots. I don't think that's the case at all. Xbox made it very clear they want Bethesda to remain as is, so it's not like anyone's walking in the studio and getting brand new information for Starfield. It just truly seems like this is one of those situations where we either have to wait for A, Bethesda to comment, B, a trusted industry insider, say a Jason Schreier, comes out and says what exactly is happening with Starfield and what exactly these images are, or C, the actual leaker themselves post something that is just not the character standing still. And of course, when it comes to video content, when it's, let's say they leaked actual gameplay, I couldn't even put that on my channel. It's a whole different ball game when it comes to that stuff. So I just, there's question marks rolling through my head right now. As you can tell, this is a bit of like a rambly video, because it's not like there's really much to go off of when it comes to any of these leaks, other than it's just a game in existence at this point in time and probably settlements. Now the LinkedIn combination, that helps a little bit, but other than that, ladies and gentlemen, there's not much more I can toss your way. I think the relationship between Bethesda and Xbox is fine. I'm only bringing that up because a lot of people were tweeting at me about that. I think Bethesda's probably perfectly happy with these leaks because it's really nothing damning. It's early content. It just gives people a little idea of what the game may slightly be like, but people are extremely excited over it. So they're kind of just winning in all ends here. So if I'm Bethesda, I'm just like, go ahead, leak it, dude. Like, it's literally free marketing for them at this point in time. So we'll see as this story develops. I have a habit of jinxing things and going like, okay, yeah, our next video is probably going to be like Bethesda talking about it and finally acknowledging the leak, which they have reportedly been deleting people's messages off of Discord involving the leak, which is definitely a little peculiar. If it wasn't their game, then they could just be like, yeah, sit here. But definitely a bit of a head scratcher on that one. But who knows what happens next? Who knows if it's another leak or if it's actually just going to die out here? I don't know. I can only imagine the fountain will eventually run dry, but that's just my 2 cents here. I just wanted to go ahead and make this video because as someone who's been waiting for Starfield information, I've covered this game since before when it was even a trademark, right? Some people were like, oh my God, you're making videos about these screenshots. I'm like, dude, I was talking about this game when it was a word on a piece of paper. You think when there's screenshots, I'm gonna let it be? Come on, man. It's ridiculous. So I've been enjoying the heck out of this. It's been a good time. I'm loving watching the community speculate and enjoy these leaks. So I'm looking forward to seeing what all of you have to say in the comments down below. Once again, is there anything that you can build off of all of these images and offer something down below that maybe I didn't think of in this video? Fire away. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to wrap things up. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. Big thank you to all of the patrons as well as the new members who are supporting the heck out of our show. Appreciate you guys. You're making a huge difference here. I cannot stress that enough. I'll talk with you guys soon. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.